Well, it's blustery, it's autumnal. That can only mean one thing, Mossy. Famous Grouse Nations Series. Rugby's back.
International rugby's back, isn't it? You've got the Guinness Six Nations in that block just after New Year. You've got your summer tests and summer tours, and then everybody takes a wee bit of a break. The URC and the domestic championships start up again, and then it's all built towards the Nations Series in November. 4 test matches for Scotland, 4 different challenges, a lot of new faces, 45 man squad just announced. A Scotland A fixture in there as well, so we're going to see a lot of new players, a lot of Will Kent faces, and hopefully a lot of excitement at Scottish Gas Murrayfield.
Fair amount to unpack there. We better get to it. This is the official Scottish Rugby podcast. First up, a chat with uncapped player Freddy Douglas. It's the official Scottish Rugby podcast with Caroline and Mossy ahead of the new season with the Famous Grouse Nations Series. And today we are joined by a very fresh, very fresh uncapped player, Freddy Douglas, Edinburgh Rugby back row. When I say fresh, you have literally just found out that you've been named in Gregor Townsend's Scotland squad. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm still in a bit of shock, to be honest. I was like, kind of just pulled from training right at the end, and heart was going the entire walk here. But yeah, no, obviously really excited, but yeah, still kind of in shock.
Pulled from training, does that mean that Gregor quite literally at the end of training pulled you to the side and told you that you've been selected for a Scotland squad?
Exactly that. He just took me to one side and I was like, yep, you've been selected.
I think it's worth saying as well, it's a National Academy training session, and it's an amazing story. I think a lot of people who've followed Scottish rugby in under 20s, some of your 18s school career, and certainly Edinburgh A will know you. Certainly performances in last year's Six Nations under 20s were really spectacular. But the rise has continued, and you were saying before, you've only played 5 Edinburgh A games?
Not many, definitely.
Senior rugby?
Yeah.
And here you are being tapped on the shoulder at a National Academy session to say in the national. I think it's a brilliant story, and it's well deserved. Physical, combative, back rower. Out and out 7, would you say, Freddie?
Yeah, I'd say I could play anywhere, but I am an
Good
out and
answer.
out 7, yeah.
What about, we'll go into your game style in a minute, but about that conversation, I want to know what that looks like with Gregor. Obviously it'll be personal to you how that conversation went, but how do you react in the moment when you're getting that conversation?
I barely remember. I was just looking like kind of deadly straight in his eyes and like, what are you saying? And then like shook his hand, shook a few of the other coaches' hands, still kind of just like in disbelief. And then it was actually and then I saw Isaac Coates, and he was like, oh, what was that about? I was like, I'm in the autumn test squad. And then he just jumped in my arms. It was just, but yeah, it's kind of just shock, because I wasn't expecting anything like this, and then I'm just like, just giving it, yeah.
Can you relate to all of this? Like, does it remind you of when you got the nod?
I can relate to the emotion that comes into the voice. It seems a long time ago, but when it's it becomes a goal. But before that, it's a dream. So when it's a dream that you want to achieve, you want to experience it's just like something you can't really describe. And I know exactly how you're feeling, and I can feel what you're saying in terms of, it's an announcement, and it's so excited, and you want to tell people, but you can't tell people because it's the day before it gets announced. So you have to protect that. You have to tell your family. It's probably the first place you go. And then your mind, I assume, I don't know, you put ideas in your head, but your mind goes to, right, what comes next? How do I establish myself in here? How can I learn? How can I prove my worth? And you go very quickly from the emotional stuff to the technical, tactical stuff. Say, right, let's roll the sleeves up and get on with it.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah, exactly that.
Did you speak to the family?
Yeah, I had a wee phone call with my mum there. Just outside the Orion. Quite emotional. Because, again, obviously not been expecting it, and then to hear such amazing news, anyone would get quite emotional. And then, I'm going to dinner with her later today just to chat through it all. But yeah, really emotional with my mum, and then a few of my mates just there were really happy for me as well.
You'll be getting a steak tea tonight, I think.
I think so, yeah.
You'll be getting a good one.
What about your rugby journey so far? Are you from a rugby family? Obviously, so your mum will be so proud as well, but was rugby in the family growing up?
Yeah, it was quite big. Dad is from Belfast, so he's not Irish. He played rugby all the way through school, then he captained Scottish unis for like a wee bit. He played a bit of London Scottish as well. Oh no, London Irish. Yeah, so he's a 7 as well. And then older brother, he's a 7. Played all the way through
There's a
school.
theme here.
Yeah. And then uni as well. And then, yeah, I'm a 7 as well. And then got a bunch of people in the family that used to play rugby as well.
Yeah.
Stuff, yeah. So, yeah, rugby's always been a big part of our family.
And I take it you came to some of the games with the players that you're potentially going to be playing alongside.
Yeah, we got season tickets actually, so we go every year. We always go, me and my mum always go watch them, so to actually be playing alongside them was kind of crazy, but yeah.
Have you had chance to actually sit and let that sink in?
Not really, I don't think so, because it is like, they're your heroes. Like, you grow up watching them on TV, watching them at Murrayfield, and then now I'm going to be training and playing with them. It's just a bit surreal. Yeah.
And in terms of the players that you're training and playing alongside, like, who are you most looking forward to? And I suppose, what have you taken from your time at Edinburgh?
Yeah, I mean, well, looking forward to is Rory Darge. I mean, he's always, like, as a 7, it's Rory Darge. He's obviously incredible, and I think I'll learn loads and loads from him. And then playing with Edinburgh, you've heaps of back rows I can learn from. Boiler and Jamie Ritchie, I've chatted to quite a lot and learnt a lot from them. Boiler being a Stu Melboy, we've kind of got a wee bit of a connection, and then Hamish as well. It's kind of surreal training with Hamish, because I'd like swap in with him for reps and stuff. And like, I used to watch you all the time. But no, all of the back rows are really lovely at Edinburgh, and like really supportive of me and really helped me. Yeah.
What about stuff away from the training pitch and away from the game? Tell us about you. What's the have you got other hobbies? You're a gamer.
I'm a bit of a gamer.
It always comes at the
Did
game
I
with
hear,
that.
before we went that, did I not hear that you also, did you not compete at shot put as well?
I did, yeah. That was ages ago, yeah.
Fun fact.
Yeah, well, whenever we couldn't do rugby, so whenever it was summer, I did athletics and I did shot put.
It's such an interesting choice.
Well, yeah, it was just because, I don't know, I could just throw it pretty far. So I just got picked for shot put, and then I was in like the B team for 100-metre relay. That's my only claim to fame.
Fast back roll, take that. And so, gaming. There's a bit of gaming in there, yeah.
Mum's a landscape designer, so I do quite like gardening.
Well, here we go. Now you're talking.
Now we're getting in. Now, this is
I
more
like
the
a garden.
traditional style of pre-season as well that we would like, whether it's on a farm or in a garden.
And have you got an interest in that?
Yeah.
Have you ever the summer job labouring or?
I worked for my mum for a bit, but then rugby kind of took over. But no, it's kind of just like therapy for me, gardening.
Good.
Just put some music on and work on the garden a wee bit, because mum always wants something fixed in the garden. So yeah.
We can feel your excitement, and we're excited for you as well. This is a hugely important moment in this part of your journey that's very much got a long way ahead of it, but we're delighted for you, Freddie, and we wish you all the very, very best. I'm sure this is not the last time that we will have you on the official Scottish Rugby podcast.
Oh, thank you very much.
Go well. Well, we're now joined by Scotland assistant coach and newly appointed Scotland A coach, head coach. Congratulations, it's Pete Horne in the hot seat. Pete, let's just quickly talk about that appointment in general. Huge congratulations to you, and a real testament of the work that you've been doing with Scotland since your arrival.
Yeah, thanks. No, look, I'm really excited about the opportunity. I think as soon as Gregor mentioned it, I bit his hand off. It's really exciting. Like I said to Michael last week, it's a real honour to coach a country at any level, but to be asked to sort of lead on the A stuff will be really exciting. It'll be an exciting group, and it's a challenge that Chile will be coming over full of beans. They're a good team. We obviously saw that in the summer, and excuse the pun.
Sorry, Horne, I had to giggle at that one.
Got that.
And,
I was so slow there.
Yeah, so no, it'll be good. It's going to be a good couple of weeks.
Do you get to choose your assistants? Couple of trusted lieutenants you've got?
Yeah, no, Gregor was pretty keen on who he had in his mind, sort of thing, and it works really well for me. I get on great with Stevie and Murch, obviously, so I think fingers crossed we'll complement each other really well, and we're all looking forward to it.
We know what they'll bring, but from your perspective, what will they bring?
I think both of them, you can just trust them to get on with their jobs. They're both really, really experienced coaches. They've done, some brilliant work with their respective pro teams. So for me, it'll be just about kind of leaving them to it, to be fair. And I'm sure we'll all, like I said, support each other and complement each other in nice ways.
We haven't caught up with Steve Faylorry recently, but we spoke to Pete Murchie recently for the
after the URC one. Yeah. I think it's important to say they've both been, well, all three of you, but they've both been head coaches as well. So it's a really nice kind of blend to understanding everybody's role, but obviously understand the difficulties of everybody's role as well. I think you'll work really well together.
Yeah, exactly.
Know each other well as well.
What you want. You don't want it when you're only together for a short space of time. It's great when you've got a good relationship with the guys already, and you can just kind of click into place and get on with it. There's nothing awkward. They don't have to feel bad if they're chucking something out, or if I'm missing stuff, which is 100% going to happen. So it's great to know that you've got two boys that kind of have your back and will look after you, sort of thing.
You're off a similar vintage as well, which is also quite nice. Have you got memories with them both?
I do. I've played with both guys. Me and Stevie had a couple of games together when we were younger, and he used to make me laugh a lot. He's
just a funny guy.
A really good boy, yeah. And obviously played with Murch for years at Glasgow. He was one of my kind of best mates when we were playing together. So it'll be brilliant to work with him. Like you said, we've got a lot of fond memories, and fingers crossed we can make another one.
But you're obviously involved with the national team as well, ahead of the Chile game. The Chile game's it's a Saturday, isn't it? 23rd of November. So it's after the national team have played Fiji, South Africa and Portugal. So how difficult will that fourth week be? Which camp will you be in? Where will your focus be? Will there be a lot of similarities between maybe some of the players who are in the squad at the moment who play in the A squad?
Yeah, it's funny. Everyone's been kind of asking me that. So to be fair, the way the week works, it should hopefully work quite nice. Like, don't get me wrong, it's going to be busy. Yeah. I'll still have my duties with preparing the national squad for the Australia game, but I think the way that we're going to run the week, it should flow really smooth. You know, it's not like going to feel like the A team are, playing second fiddle or anything like that. And like you said, I think, to be honest, it's going to work in our favour, because the fourth week of the camp, quite often you've got 15 guys that are pretty gutted, they're not playing, they're not involved, whereas just about everyone in the environment will have an opportunity to show what they've got and leave a lasting impression going into
It's a real purpose in that week, isn't it, for everyone?
Exactly,
Makes it quite spicy, though. It makes it quite...
Absolutely.
When's team announcement on the Monday? It could get messy.
So, I think on Monday we're going to bring together the A team, and the national team will have the Monday off.
Obviously, they're a Sunday fixture.
So we'll have a good day of prep, a lot of clarity and things, just getting to know everyone, break the ice kind of thing. And then on the Tuesday, the A team will go home, and we'll prepare the national team, so they'll have a similar kind of day. And then the Wednesday, Thursday will all be training together. So there'll be two brilliant days. And I'm sure we'll prep each other really well. Like, if anything, it should be a really competitive.
From a fan's perspective, I mean, you can really make a weekend of it, though, can't you? Because you've got two games back to back next door to each other.
Definitely, and that's what we'll be selling to the A boys as well. We want to almost get the weekend going by putting on a great performance, getting everyone really excited about, the weekend. And it's a good chance for people to go and enjoy their Saturday night, watch a good game of rugby, see some of the up-and-coming talent, as well as some guys that have obviously played for Scotland before that will be desperate to show I should be playing tomorrow in the main stage. So, it'll be cool, and that should set the scene for the main event with the boys on this Sunday, getting ready for just to try and finish off the autumn on a real high. It'll be nothing better than two really good wins where we've got 45 guys really putting their hand up for Six Nations selection.
There's something about Hive as well, isn't there? It's the Hive Stadium, it gets so noisy.
It's been brilliant,
have that Sevens atmosphere almost, like that, totally. That carnival atmosphere really comes out there.
Absolutely, that's what we're after, and hopefully we'll play a brand of rugby that is certainly not bland, but that is exciting, and we can score some tries in what will be a really tough game. It's a great chance for some guys. As we've said, Chile posed us a lot of problems in the summer. They've played a bit of rugby since then as well, and they're going well. So it'll be great. That's what you want. You almost want to see how some players adapt to that little step up from your respective clubs, how you fit in our system, how you're going to play the way that we play in our kind of philosophy, and see how that goes. It'll be a good chance to express yourself, and hopefully it'll go well.
You mentioned there, just quick touch on it, the philosophy and the shape. Will it mirror? We're both at it. Will it mirror the national team?
Yeah, absolutely. It will. 100%. And look, there'll be certain things that we'll tweak or experiment with, looking at
for
Chile.
Personnel,
exactly, and the combinations that we'll have for that game. But it'll mirror the way that we look to play as a national team.
It feels like a nice opportunity then to talk about the National Academy and your involvement with that, but also the impact that has and how that project is going at this point.
It's been great. We've had two camps so far this year, and honestly, it's been brilliant. It's I've probably been bad in the past for being quite in touch with a lot of the Glasgow young fellas that are coming through. I've got a good kind of clue on them, but sometimes it's not until the Edinburgh guys get to about 19, 20 that you start to they come onto the radar. So Absolutely, I've been blown away by some of the talent that's coming through. You know, there's guys that I've never worked with before that now I'm looking out for them on a team sheet or on a highlights package, or, you know, when you're speaking to their coaches, you've got a much better idea of what they're talking about, and what, you know, you can put a name to a face, which is great, instead of just names going up on sheets a lot of the time. When we're talking about the young guys, it's great to have a much better understanding. And you know what, like, I always say to so many players, like, you never know who's watching. So now if you're ever out just dropping into a game, you'll be like, oh, that's so-and-so, he was really good, I like him. And, you know, it's a good chance for these boys to make a good impression. And, yeah, obviously Freddie's a great example.
Some of them already have, exactly.
Yeah.
And he's won a 45-man squad, big squad. We've got the A game as well, but it is a big squad. It's bigger than we've had before. What's the thinking around the numbers?
Oh, look, it's a chance for us to have a look at some more guys, some extra players. Hopefully the plan is to try and give a few more guys some opportunities as well. You know, in the Six Nations, the team doesn't change too much. You know, you're desperate to get a fair bit of continuity and
it's unforgiving as well, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
In terms of the schedule, amongst other things, it's really intense.
No, exactly. So look, this will be an opportunity. Hopefully we can make a few more changes, look at some different combinations, and again, we want to give some guys that maybe haven't had an opportunity in the past during the Six Nations or things, we want to give them a crack of the whip as well. So it'll be great. Obviously with the A game in there, there's half an eye on that, where we want some guys to have a chance to train with us, to prepare with us, and see how they're going for that couple of weeks, and they're not just pitching up on the Monday for the A game. So no, it'll be really good. And you know what Gregor's like as well, it doesn't matter if you think you've scraped into the squad, if you train well and go really well, he'll give you an opportunity. So
opportunities. He's given the nod to Sione Tuipulotu as captain. What are your thoughts on that appointment? What can we look forward to?
Oh, it's tough to kind of sum it up in one sentence. I think Sione is just every kind of time every sort of camp he's in, you just are, I don't know, he impresses you more, you know. So I think he's a leader of men. You know, there's guys, whether he doesn't even need to do it to try, it's like effortless for him, you know. People just, you want to be in his company because he's a top boy, but he's so good at, like, everything rubs off, his energy, his enthusiasm. He makes you want to go out and train, he makes you want to play, but he's also, when he crosses that line, he turns into another beast, you know. He's a different man, and I think that's really special, and that rubs off on the players around him. So he's the type of guy that, I don't know, when he's like speaking in the change room pre-game, you're like, you have that little bit of, I wouldn't mind dusting the boots off, and then you remember, you look at, exactly. You know, so no, look, he's all the boys will follow him. He's the type of guy you want to go into the trenches with.
That comes across in everything he does with us, in the public, post-match, pre-match, everything. I think the public have a real kind of appreciation of that. Like, it's sometimes the message from inside the camp can be different to the message outside the camp, but I'd say they totally align.
Isn't it?
Yeah, and his wee brother's in the squad as well.
Yeah, his wee brother
spoke to him about that dynamic, have you?
Nah, not too much. Like you said about Sione, he's got that presence and that aura, but he's desperate to win as well. Like, he is so competitive and he wants to win. He's sick of kind of being plucky losers or anything like that. You know, he's very driven. He'll be quite open about the fact that he'll be gunning to try and make the line. So he's going to have a big year. And I think, like, almost the pressure of the captaincy, he'll rise to that. It'll make him want to play even better and show everyone there's a reason I'm the captain. I'm gonna go out and lead by example. So, no, look, it's really exciting for Sione. I'm delighted for him, and I'm sure we'll see the best version of himself.
Some guys in quite rightly further form in URC as well.
Yeah.
Like Ben Muncaster jumps in mind, certainly the uncapped guys. He's one of those. Tom Jordan,
the
Glasgow Warriors as well. So there's reward there for early. Harry Patterson coming back from injury. There's early reward for early season form.
Definitely, and that's what we want to see. You want to be picking guys that are in form, going well, and like you said about Ben, he's the perfect example of one of those lads who's worked so hard over the summer. He was probably a bit disappointed with how last season went. He didn't get too many opportunities, and there was various little bits of adversity that he's went through, but he's worked so hard over the summer and he's got that opportunity and taken it.
Like, you just see the way that he's gone into this season as well. He's gone in at it with that real determination to get in a Scotland jersey.
And there was a couple of them in that Leinster game. Remember the first game of the season? He just came out the blocks and you were like, wow, this is, it's awesome. So, no, he feels like he's kind of riding that crest where everything's like going well for him, and that's not luck. That's because he's working so hard, and you know, when you're grafting the way he is, then good things do start to happen for you. So, no, we're delighted with him. He's a really exciting prospect. He can obviously kind of play across the back row as well. So it'll give us some good options. Like you said about Cess as well, going back to Mosese, he's been brilliant. He's obviously come in. He's certainly won over all the Edinburgh boys. He's very like his brother. He's got a great way about him. And it's brilliant to see. I thought at the weekend there he had his best game of the season so far against Cardiff. And
really impressed.
Yeah, he was. And you know, I almost think
there's no confidence and balance to it, eh?
Definitely. And it did definitely help that he was on the ball more. Like Edinburgh were going well. They had their tails up. They were looking to play, and that suited Mosese, which is great. And I think that'll hopefully transfer really well into the way that we want to play.
You mentioned, we did talk about the leadership there in terms of the captaincy, but when you look at the squad that's been announced, there are so many players in there that have been in that role of captain. That's hugely important, surely, then, for having that leadership.
Definitely,
team around you.
And you know what? Those guys will probably know what they could have, or maybe could have done with in terms of support and help from some of the other players around them. So they'll be in a really good position to support Sione. And look, I think when Gregor told him, the first thing he wanted to do was touch base with the guys that have been captain before them and make sure, you know, there was no, which just is the measure of the man, you know, it just tells you everything about him. So I can, you know, we'd spoken to those guys, they're all delighted for him. And like you said, they'll be desperate to support him in any way they can. And it'll be very much a leadership group. It won't just be a one-man kind of band. And like you said, the experience of those guys in behind him will do him a lot of good.
4 9s in the squad as well. Jamie Dobie, George Horne, you'll let him know, Ali Price and Ben White. Will Jamie cover back 3 as well? Is that one of the things?
Yeah, I think he's definitely in there to play 9. Like he's been the sort of form 9 going into the selection. He's been outstanding at the start of the season, which we're all delighted about. And obviously his versatility. Helps. You know, he can. When he's on the field, it means that you can start playing around with your bench and what you do there. And the other thing is, like, he's a really good winger. He's a really good
that's
winger.
That's why I say it, because he's got genuine ability to do both.
That's the thing. So, like, although he's definitely down as a 9, he's pretty high up the depth chart on the wing as well. You know, we've all said, like, we'd have no qualms with starting him in a test match on the wing. Like, he's a brilliant operator. He's so good in the air. He's so competitive. One of the best defender, like pound for pound, the best defender in the squad. So
he's fat, he's nippy as well. You know, he's fast as well. Like he's
rapid,
it's great to watch.
Yeah, no, he's good. So he's obviously flying. And then Ali at the weekend was outstanding. It was great to see him back to his best. He was looking really sharp.
That felt important, didn't it, as well for Ali? You could see that he
big moment.
It was a big moment in that game.
Yeah,
that's what I mean about early season form, and that can extend to like Nathan Macbeth. I think's been outstanding for Glasgow. Will Hurd for Leicester. Like it is a squad, a big squad, but picked on form as well. Yeah,
no, definitely. It was great to see Nathan going so well against the South African kind of the bomb squad, if you like. You know, he was up against Koch there, who is a world class player, and Nathan did really well. So. We're buzzing with Nathan as well, and like you said, there's so much kind of competition. We've now trying to get it to 45 was tough. So I mean, I hate to think what the 23 is going to be like next.
So much can happen. So much. There's a lot of rugby between
that's the thing now. There's URC fixtures, and then there's preparation.
Now in the end of November.
There's a lot going on. A couple, I think, omissions in terms of injury. Andy on Amir Christie, I assume, would be there and thereabout, and Kyle Steyn, the 2 players who've performed really well, who are unfortunately not available, but they're obviously still in the thoughts as well, aren't they?
Definitely, like 2 huge losses. There's no skirting around that. They've both been in unbelievable form, not only in the last kind of month or so, but also what they've done at
the whole journey was good.
Absolutely. Like they're absolutely flying. It's so cruel. Both of them have been so unlucky that they seem to pick up a lot of injuries around Scotland
selection
time.
That's true.
So we're absolutely gutted for them. But you know what? Both of them have. It always, when you get injured, you know what it's like most. The first couple of weeks, you just don't want to speak to anyone. You don't want to see anyone.
First couple of months.
Yes, exactly. But then those guys, once they kind of get their head around it, they're both incredible at the way they come back. Like I've never seen them come back and struggle. They always almost just morph into like an even better version of themselves. You know, so. I've got no doubt they'll both battle back really well and play a big part in our future, definitely.
I think looking as well to the 4 tests that you've got coming up, Fiji, South Africa, Portugal and Australia, 3 out of those 4 are now sellouts. Portugal is already on 50,000 plus tickets. This is a Scotland product that people are really excited about, and it's great to see that continue. But looking at this campaign ahead, a quick line then about each of those games and what your expectations are.
It's great, isn't it? Like you said, it's 3 games sold out already, and I'm sure if the first couple of weeks of the autumn go well, then that Portugal game will sell out as well. So starting with Fiji, I think they're everyone's second favourite team, aren't they? You know, everyone loves.
And they're doing well. Yeah.
They are, since that the Drua, the formation of the Drua playing in that Super Rugby competition. It's meant that they're getting way more competitive fixtures week in, week out, and you know, they're better organised defensively, especially. And then they've obviously they've just got so much flair. The thing that everyone misses as well is they are so physical.
Yeah.
They're the biggest blokes ever. You know, it sounds stereotypical, but they do just need to like look at the gym, and they seem to get bigger and stronger. And so that'll be such a physical game, and which will be brilliant prep for the following
First
week.
game's important in any series as well, isn't it? Like that really sets the tone, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and you don't have long. You know, our guys, like you said, the Glasgow boys are over in South Africa at the moment. Edinburgh have got another game this weekend, and you know, everyone's playing, so you only by the time we get hold of them on a Monday morning, we've only got a couple of sessions before you play. So it's trying to find that balance and making sure that we're not adding in too much. We're getting what we want out of training, and we're ready to kind of fire on the first game. And like you said, you do want to get off to a flyer.
Well, they're 9th in the world, and I got the rankings here, but to give some context, they're behind Italy and they're ahead of Australia. So that, in terms of the
when you put it
the opposition, where probably people would maybe have seen Fiji as a threat before, but you know, a wee bit loose. They're a proper team, and we'll know the head coach, McBurn, really well. He's worked with us, kicking coach for a long time for Scotland, and he's had huge success as a coach through South Africa, with Australia, with New Zealand franchises. So he'll be looking forward to coming home.
Oh, I bet he'll be desperate to come and turn us over. Absolutely.
It's also teeing up the world champions. You know, that's a test match that we're all excited about, and an opportunity to look back to the World Cup too.
Definitely, it's one that I think as soon as that final whistle went in the World Cup, every single player and coach has been desperate to get another opportunity. So the fact that we're getting it at home as well in front of our fans will be brilliant. You know, to test yourself against the best team in the world is something that doesn't come around too often. So you know, the boys will. That's why you play the game, isn't it? That's what you want to play for. You want to test yourself against these guys. So, look, we've got to rise to the challenge. They've been so consistently good over the years, and it's going to be it'll be a physical challenge, but it's one that we're really excited about. We didn't feel like we performed in the World Cup, and like we said, we're desperate for another crack at it.
Oh, it'll be noisy as well. There's just nothing like being there, you know, and it's that noise that's going to come about at that match is going to be quite incredible. And then on to Portugal. So then it's a slightly different week. It's
definitely
exciting, exciting brand of rugby.
That's it.
Again, go back to the World Cup for Portugal.
Totally.
You know, I'm so excited for that game.
I think a lot of people will probably think like Portugal, like that's a strange one. But then when you go and watch them at the World Cup, you're like, they can play, and like you said, they want to play.
Fiji, was it Fiji?
Yeah.
So, and you know, Fiji ended up getting in quarterfinals. You know, so arguably should have made the semi. You know, like they're a good team. They'll be desperate. They're almost in that similar kind of bracket to Georgia, where they'll be desperate to show we deserve on the bigger stage. We're all this hard work that we're doing, you know, is got to pay off, and they'll be looking for a scalp. So look, we can't there'll be no way. I think it's another great game for us to work on what we talked about after the learnings from the Italy game, where we went over there, we're in a great position, and we let that kind of slip and go. We've got to make sure that we deal with any sort of or form of like, oh, Scotland should win that, and just do a really good job. And I'm sure
all quite different challenges the first
really,
three.
Really
and
different
questions that you're going to be asked as an individual, as an international player, as international coaches over the years. Like you have to be the team you want to be. You have to adapt and overcome different challenges, and each of those are different. They've got a new head coach, Simon Mannix, an ex-All Black standoff, but he'll continue to play the way Lajewski played when he was head coach with Portugal. It'll be fast. It'll be open, it'll be quick. That's what the players are built
that's
for.
What they're suited for, exactly.
They've got a sevens pedigree that aligns to that as well. So it's three different challenges before Chile, and then the final test match against Australia.
And like they're in a place where
they're a threat.
Oh, this is the thing.
They're a bit of an unknown at the moment.
Because they're a proper threat.
Yeah, they've had some like really good performances. They've obviously had a couple of brilliant results as well. And
they're better than the results have shown.
Yes, that's the threat, isn't it? Yeah.
you know what it's like. You never like playing a team that are off the back of where they'll feel, like you said, the results haven't kind of given a sort of true identity of how they've played. So they'll be coming over on this tour with a lot to prove, a lot of kind of, with no pressure as well. Away from home, you don't have the same kind of media circus around the Bledisloe and everything. So they'll be quietly confident and desperate to smash us anyway.
They've had that narrative, haven't they, for so long now. I think they are, like you say, they're ready to come over to the Northern Hemisphere.
All you have to do is look at the individual players they've got. And the coach is obviously a world-class coach, but their individual players are, they're better than what the perception of the team is, undoubtedly.
Definitely,
and that's a big ask.
And in Joe as well, like they've got a proven winner. He knows how to come over, how to win. He'll
in the Northern Hemisphere as well.
Yeah, exactly. He'll spend a lot of time getting his strategy like absolutely on the money. He'll know absolutely everything about every one of our players. And the more time that he spends with the Aussie boys as well, they're going to start to understand the way that he wants to play. So we're definitely going to get an even better version of Australia come that last test.
Before we round off, it's almost impossible, I think, must be for a coach and a coaching setup ahead of a Lions year to keep the focus to some degree. I mean, the players are here, they want to play for Scotland, that is their priority and that is their privilege, and it's not lost on them. But it's hard to ignore the fact it is a big year next year.
It is, yeah. There's already, like, everyone's picking their Lions 15s and their Lions 23s and whatnot, but I think as soon as you sort of take your eye off what's right in front of you, that's when you're sort of asking for trouble. You know, you'll end up worrying about, you take your eye off the ball and it's gone. So I'm fairly confident. You know, our boys know that they've got to play their way in as well. It's not like they're sitting on the plane right now. All of them will have a point to prove and be like, we need to play well and we need to play into something like that. And you know what? It normally takes care of itself. Yeah. If you're playing well for Scotland, if we're going really well and we're winning our games in the autumn, if we're competing for that Six Nations, which we have to, then absolutely that stuff will take care of itself.
It'll be in everybody's mind at some point, but it'll have no effect in the games.
Great.
It'll be down moments on a Monday or a Tuesday in your hotel or walking to a session, and come Friday, Saturday, Sunday match day, it'll be the furthest. It won't even register. Yeah. So it is there will be awareness from a player's perspective on it, but it'll have zero impact on the final product.
Yeah, 100%. And like you said, as soon as regardless of if you play 3 really good tests and then your 4th one is terrible, you know, that is a lasting impression. You never know. Andy Farrell might not have watched as closely a couple of it. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. I think you're bang on, Moss. You want to just look at taking care of business and what's in front of you, and then that stuff.
Get the sleeves rolled up.
Get
the sleeves rolled up.
Well, on that note, you'll have to get your sleeves rolled up now. You've got a very, very busy couple of weeks ahead of you. We wish you all the very best for that. You always talk sense, Pete, and look forward to hearing how this campaign goes for you.
Thanks very much.
For your own personal level as well. Very best wishes.
Thank you. Cheers, guys. Much appreciated.
Well, we certainly unpacked a fair amount there today, but it's really whet the appetite for what's set to be a really exciting campaign ahead.
Yeah, it always does, isn't it? The international rugby, what it means to the players, individuals, whether old or new, the coaches, and ultimately the fans and spectators for all the teams really that'll come to Scottish Gas Murrayfield. It's the first opportunity of the new international season, and you want to start it with a bang.
You also want to start it with a quote. The season has changed. Time now to go in and get a cup of tea. But in the meantime, as always, you can catch up with the latest news and content via scottishrugby.org or via Scottish Rugby's social media channels.